Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. We'll shortly be starting this morning's webinar, which will be covering the new features of Business Central, which I hope you'll find very useful. I'm going to hand over to my colleague Jake in a moment, who will give you a short overview of our company experience, and then he'll delve into what you're all here to learn about today, which is the new features in Dynamics 365 Business Central. Please do use the Q&A box to ask any questions during the session, and we will try and answer as many as possible at the end, and that will be dependent on how we're doing for time. Now, if we don't get to answer your questions, we'll reach out to you personally to provide answers. So now I will hand over to Jake. Jake, over
Thank you,
to you.
Ronnie. Thank you. So good morning, everybody. I'd just like to say welcome to our audience. Welcome to our webinar today covering some of the newest features in Business Central Release Wave 2 2024. So just a quick introduction from myself. I'm Jake Lloyd here at Experience. I am a business applications consultant and I tend to actually specialise within the construction sector. So just a reminder of who we are and what we do. So obviously we are Experience Group. And we started out life around 50 years ago as an early pioneer of the UK computing industry. We currently have around 240 staff and we support over 1,800 clients. We work across 6 different offices, which are London, Gloucester, Bury St Edmunds, Peter, Glasgow and Lisbon. And we are actually a Microsoft Gold partner as well. Now, we do have company values, which you can see on the screen there, and we also have 5 work streams, which we call pillars, which I'm just going to run through quickly on our next slide. So these are our 5 pillars, as they're known internally at the company. What we're here to talk about today actually is the ERP pillar, which is the top right. However, I know many organisations we work with today aren't just looking for a solid accounting system. So typically, whichever ERP solution our clients choose to work with, typically, as I say, it must go hand in hand with their CRM processes. So typically our clients want their CRM and ERP strategies to coexist with their IT infrastructure and all their other Microsoft 365 applications which they currently use. And what we've found is increasingly our clients are looking to lift and shift old on-premise servers and systems into the cloud. So we hand that over to our managed IT and cloud team to take care of that. Now, last but not least, equally as important as the rest is our cybersecurity division. So if you didn't know, we actually have a team of hackers here who are ethical hackers, as we call them. They monitor and protect our clients' entire IT estate, and that includes their ERP strategy as well. We are often approached actually by our clients with a requirement to address their ERP and CRM needs. However, we don't just look at that. We like to look at the total solution to make sure that what we're actually recommending is correct for yours and their businesses. So moving on, what we're here to do today, we're here to look at the Business Central Release Wave 2 releases, and we will get into that. But first of all, what I wanted to do is just highlight just quickly the benefits of using Business Central SaaS, so up in the cloud, rather than using BC on-prem, so rather than having it in a server room somewhere. So what you get when you're a BC SaaS customer is you do get the automatic upgrades. So Business Central is automatically upgraded and you will get the latest features automatically. You will get things such as sandbox environments. So what you're able to do there is take a copy of your production environment, put it into a sandbox and break it, play around with it, test in there without affecting anything in your production companies. And what you also get is you get the Copilot and the AI innovation features. We'll have a look at some of that today, and this is really where Microsoft is sort of taking the product as well. Some really good stuff to come out here. But again, that is just for our SaaS users rather than a BC on-prem. Okay, so let's just look at a summary level actually of what we're here to look at today, or what Microsoft have actually done with this update. So as I say, in summary, they have improved the user experience. So we'll see some of that functionality today. There's functionality improvements. There's new reports, and there's new ways to analyze data, and of course there is other improvements as well. So one of the first ones which I want to show you is the new drag and drop feature. So the new drag and drop feature, basically what it's done is it's made it now a lot more quicker and user friendly to add multiple attachments to a record at once. So as you can see here, we're now dragging and dropping on multiple files in this first screenshot to be uploaded to a record. If we look at our next screenshot here, actually what we're showing here is we're showing you these files which have been attached to the record. You can now see them in this new view under Documents at a glance, and just at the top of this you can actually see the old method, which is via the Documents link, which you can actually hide now if you want to, and just use the new method. And then the final screenshot we've got in here, actually we're just demonstrating, or highlighting, sorry, that if you use the email editor, so if you send emails from Business Central to the outside world, you now have the ability to add multiple files to your email using the drag and drop function. So nice and easy. Okay, so another new one, which is being able to resize columns even when personalization isn't enabled. So previously, users would be required to use the personalization function to resize columns, but now actually this can easily be achieved within the UI without having to use personalization. So a nice, quick, easy win there. Okay, so the next one. Data search. So a new improved search function which gives users access to data faster. That's not our words, that's Microsoft. So as we see here in this screenshot, what Microsoft have done is they have introduced a faster search as labeled by Microsoft themselves, as you can see there. So what this feature does is it actually introduces a faster modern search option whilst retaining the previous version. So we would recommend using this one, especially for our customers who have large amounts of data. So where you're looking through list pages with multiple or hundreds of thousands of records, use the faster search to get your results quicker. Okay, so those were some quick ones, but we'll go into a bit more detail now with the new subscription billing functionality. So previously, what had actually happened here was this functionality was introduced by an ISV, which Microsoft actually acquired in the end. They liked the product that much. They integrated it into the core ERP, so now it comes as standard. And what the subscription billing functionality allows you to do is so it can easily handle such things as purchase contracts, billing schedules, or if we get into the more advanced world, more advanced methods like automated billing or usage-based billing. So some of the features, or some of the latest features which have been introduced, are the deferral integration for revenue and expenses, which we'll have a look at in a moment. Revenue recognition based on billing schedules, and also the ability to update parameters and prices for subscription contracts with ease. So where you've had a price update or some changes in the contract, you can update that for your customer base very easily now. One thing I will mention actually is the subscription billing functionality is included with an Essentials license. There is no cost to this additional module. So let's take a dive in. And one thing I will mention actually here is it's been relatively hard actually to get screenshots for this. That's because this functionality is so new. It was just in preview at a recent conference. So what we've had to do is to pinch some screenshots from the Microsoft website, but hopefully we'll be able to explain this in detail. So the first screenshot that we've got here is a contract or a project deferral list. Okay, so I won't go into the ins and outs of this functionality, but I will just describe it with an example of how you may use this. So let's say you've got a project where you've got a customer who agrees to pay for something like a yearly subscription. So let's say for cloud storage. What we can do is we can set up a deferral schedule. Can be created, and what this will do is it will enable revenue to be recognized monthly rather than in the lump sum which the customer has paid. So this approach helps to manage revenue for the project as it's recognized when it's earned rather than when it's paid. And our second screenshot that we've got here is the recurring billing. Okay, so a bit of automation comes in here. Basically, what Business Central can do is it can generate the billing proposal. What it does is it allows the users to, going back, Business Central can generate a billing proposal. And then from there, what you can actually do is you can actually create the documents, so your invoices. Just to expand on that a little bit further, actually, so the recurring billing methods against customers can easily be achieved. Not that we've got it in here, but on this section, actually, you'll enter in dates and terms, and what that will do is it will create the initial billing proposal, and then from there, actually, Business Central itself will suggest what needs to be billed to the customer. And if you're happy with that, all you need to do is authorize it, and then it can go ahead and create the invoices for you. And just touching on the recurring billing again, it is a simple set of processes that really allows you to manage a portfolio of items or services that you might bill on a recurring schedule. So it does allow you to combine sales of services and items into a subscription, hold all that information in, and put it into a billing schedule to bill your customer. And you can also use things like templates as well. So when we get into the purchase contract world, instead of having to create a contract each time, you can take one of your purchase contracts you've created previously, copy that, amend it, and apply it to a different customer. And Business Central will allow you to easily manage things like pricing, price updates in the future, and it will take care of things like posting the accruals to the balance sheets, and revenue expenses as well. Okay, so our next one, Shopify. So both Microsoft and Shopify, which are separate companies, are continuously updating Spotify at the minute. Actually, recently I was at a Microsoft conference, and I've actually seen firsthand how easy it is, or how quick and easy it is to get running with Shopify. It was, as I think it was around 4 clicks that was shown to us, where you go from not having Shopify, sorry, to having Shopify, a fully populated shop. So a really good bit of kit. And if you're interested in this, obviously just reach out to your account managers, and we'll be in touch regarding this. But some of the new features which they brought out are things like add an item as a Shopify variant. So where we've got items which, let's say, a blue chair, we can have the green chair, the red chair, the orange chair. We can easily pass those to the Shopify site. What we can actually do now, new features, we're able to export our posted sales invoices to Shopify and then reconcile the payments from our customers to those invoices. And we can also import, export product information using the Shopify meta fields. So where we're glancing at a product on a website, and we've got all that information in the background, some of it we can see, some of it we can't see, we can extract that information and also import it into Shopify as well to help guide your customers to the correct products, let's say. Okay, so the next area, so sustainability. Okay, so sustainability is an area which Microsoft is really focusing on now, and it is hot off the press, so to say. We at Experience actually believe that the recording of emissions data will soon likely be legislation within the UK. We're also seeing a number of companies, and I'm sure you have as well, starting to show how green and sustainable they are. And they do that really to become the preferred choice in the market for the ever-growing careful consumer. We're more careful about where we shop and what we buy nowadays. So all this sustainability management allows you to do that within Business Central. But what I'm going to mention is the first thing to mention with regards to the sustainability features would be the sustainability chart of accounts. Okay, so this is really where it all started off with. This is where you can view your tracked emissions at a glance. This functionality was previously introduced by Microsoft. And that's all it was. It was just a chart of accounts, really, allowing you to track emissions. But Microsoft have really enhanced this in this release wave, and they plan to do more and more releases for this as well. So what I'm sort of showing you today, without diving into the sustainability functionality too much, is the role centers which they've introduced. And the reason why they've introduced these is because we've got these scorecards which allow you to track how well you're doing in terms of your methane, carbon dioxide and nitrous dioxide outputs. So if I just scroll through our slides here, what we've got is we've got the new role center here, where we've got quick links to the sustainability chart of accounts, the categories. We can see our activities at a glance. And then on the next slide here, what we've got is we've got the goals. So in a moment, what I'll show you is I'll show you the scorecards where we can set our company's goals in terms of emissions. And what we're seeing here is how those goals are rendered in the role center. Okay, so as I mentioned, just touching on the scorecards, goals can be created based on current and target values, so you can keep track of your current emissions in this period and the previous period. As you see, you just have the ability to set up specific scorecards with owner information that allows you to track sustainability and add goals for emissions. Typically, you'll have goals with start and end dates, baselines, current and target values for all tracked emissions. Okay, now the final part to this really is the purchasing side. So whether it is a purchase invoice or a purchase order, what you're able to do now is where we have lines on an order or an invoice, we can reference the sustainability account number, and when we do that, as you can see on my screenshot to the right here, we're able to enter in our emissions against that particular line item. And what that will do is that will feed back to the sustainability chart of accounts, and it will create a ledger entry in there for you to look at. There is some setup involved here. Okay, it doesn't just work out the box. So if you are interested in this, just reach out to your account manager and we'll talk you through the process. Okay, and the final screenshot here actually is just to show you that ledger entry. So this is something I've pinched off from Microsoft here, but as you can see, my sustainability chart of accounts has been updated with a ledger entry here, and this is from either an order, typically an order that I've raised, and when I process my invoice, it's gone into my sustainability chart of accounts. Okay, just another couple of features or functionality which Microsoft have brought into sustainability. So what they allow you to do now is actually purchase carbon credits. So you can offset your emissions, rightly or wrongly, by buying carbon credits. And what you can do within Business Central is actually set up an item as a carbon credit, and then against the item, actually what you have is you have a sustainability drop down where we can enter, how many credits this is worth and whether this is a greenhouse gas. We are able to track our sustainability certificate, so it has the certificate side of things where you can work with vendors and customers. It has the internal carbon fee calculation as well, and it has reports as you'd expect. So, we're putting in that data to get something out of the system, and there's a bunch of useful reports for sustainability as well to see all that information at a glance. Now, when it comes to AI, and Copilot, hopefully some of you guys have seen Copilot working for things like bank reconciliation so far, or the analytic reporting. But this is some of the stuff that's to come out. Some of it is already there, as I've mentioned. The bank account reconciliation. But there's more things on the horizon to come out. excuse me, even more and more stuff to do with Copilot and AI. And just touching on this, actually, I was at a conference recently, a Microsoft conference, and we got a sneak preview of quite a lot of the AI stuff. And it is a really good bit of kit. And what we've done actually is on my next slide, I'm just going to run through a quick video, about a minute long, which shows you or introduces actually the sales agent into Business Central. Now, I'm not going to say much on this. I'm just going to play the video and let you guys think what you want about it. But to me, when I saw this, I thought this is a complete game changer. So I will just play this video now, and yeah, well, you can tell me what you think afterwards.
For small businesses, every order matters. And with limited resources, quickly responding to orders can be challenging. The Sales Order Agent in Dynamics 365 Business Central sets out to change that. Let's say you are a sales manager. You can easily activate the agent right from your Business Central home screen. Once the order intake email address is provided, you are ready to go with no additional configuration required. The agent highlights tasks to be reviewed, and it's easy to see how it's engaging with inbound orders based on the timeline view. If an order email is vague, the agent can correspond with the customer to clarify and takes into account available inventory and any previously flagged customer preferences. The agent does the bulk of the work, and you only need to check the correspondence and sales quote before it's shared with the customer. With the Sales Order Agent in Business Central, customers now get an improved ordering experience and faster delivery, while your sales team can spend their time focusing on expanding the business.
Okay, all right, so there you go. Yeah, cracking bit of kit, and there is more to come actually. So I should mention actually, this is not generally available just yet. It's going to be rolled out in December to the US, and then it will come to the rest of the world. And then from there, we will see more and more agents as Microsoft call them. Yeah, great bit of kit. Okay, so moving on, we've got more to show. What Microsoft have done now is they have actually introduced a bunch more of BI reports. Now, I was actually, going back to this, I was actually at the Microsoft conference recently, and they actually told us it was 79 reports, but we've calculated that there's 63 here, so we're not sure what's going on there or who's better at maths. We'll leave that to you to decide. But Microsoft are introducing 14 more sales finance reports, 12 more sales, 13 more purchasing, 7 more inventory, 11 more manufacturing, and 6 more project reports within Power BI. Okay, so here's a snippet of where you can find them. Hopefully you know how to explore more roles in Business Central, and then how to view all the reports that are in there. Obviously you will need Power BI for this. So if this is something which you want to look at, then obviously reach out to your account manager and we'll help you out here. So what I've got on my next slide is actually just a sneak preview of one of these reports. So we've got a lovely inventory report here with some statistical information on it and some graphs. And obviously this information is just fed straight out of Business Central. We've got another report here. So just an overview of purchases. So, information at a glance taken from the BC environment, Business Central environment from your company, and put there in a nice Power BI report for you. Okay, moving on. A couple more to do. So, multiple VAT numbers, VAT, value added tax. So, we know not everyone works just in the UK. You have customers and vendors in and outside the UK and the rest of the world. And typically outside of the UK, VAT is handled differently to as it is in the UK. I mean, take Ireland, for example. Different rates, Okay, so what Microsoft have done now actually is they've added in this functionality which allows you to add multiple VAT numbers against customers and vendors where they operate in different countries or regions. So what you're able to do, or how you're able to do this actually, is when you set up alternative addresses, you are able then to enter in different VAT numbers, assign different VAT posting groups, general business posting groups. And what happens is it's when you ship something to a customer, or let's say you receive something from a vendor, Business Central will look at the ship to address and it will take the VAT, number and the VAT business posting groups, and it will handle the rest for you, rather than you having to do it yourself. So as we say here, multiple VAT numbers for customers and vendors, and Business Central will take care of the rest for you. Okay, so moving on then, we've got the field service, or what Microsoft have done here actually, now is they have integrated field service with service management. So previously, field service was integrated. The field service was previously integrated with the project module in the last release, but now Microsoft have actually given the option for either the projects module or the service management module to be integrated with field service to make life easier. So Microsoft see this as one of their key focus areas now. And one of the nicest things actually which I've picked up from this is if you were using the field service app, or your operatives were, often what would happen is they'd be looking at their emails and the email would say, check this out, and they'd have to go into the app or vice versa to view the record. But what Microsoft have done now is they've actually integrated all of this into Outlook as well, so that your operatives don't need to really use the app, let's say. They can just see those records via their Outlook inbox. Okay, so I think that's our overview of what we think are some of the best features. We do have a bit of time now for our Q&A session. So I'll just see if Ronnie's got any questions for us there.
Yes, thank you, Jake. Thank you for talking us through that. Some great new features. We've had a fair few questions come through, so I'll just pick out some of them. So we've had a question from Paul. Paul has asked, are there more sales agents to come?
Okay, all right. So yeah, as mentioned, and we kind of didn't get a definitive answer on this because this was all in preview at this recent conference. But we were told yes, there's more agents to come. I would imagine that the next one is probably a purchasing agent. And I'll just expand on that a little bit actually. One thing they've actually also showed us at the conference is that you're also going to be able to create your own agents soon enough. Really easy to do. What you actually do is you set them up, you give them a job title and a job description where you tell them what they do, and AI, the power of AI, actually picks that up and learns from it, and will create an AI agent for you to do what you tell it to do. So yeah, it's an incredible bit of kit really to come.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, next question is from Jenny. Jenny has asked, when actually is release wave 2 2024? Is there a date or a date kind of?
I would say it's more of a time frame, to be honest. So the release is from October 2024 to March 2025. Okay, so we'll see the updates come in throughout that period.
Fantastic. Okay. Next question. This is a fantastic question from Claire. Claire has asked, should we fully trust the AI agents?
I would say yes and no. Okay, so on this one, I would probably say, and this is probably taking the words out of the horse's mouth here as well from Microsoft. Not just yet. Okay. I mean, what will happen is, and I won't get into the full 10 minutes of explanation that Microsoft gave us here, but typically what will happen is you will let the AI or the agents do the hard work or the mundane work, and then what you will do is you will just check that at the end of the day or in interval periods. So let's say you're using a sales agent that's reading emails and producing quotes and orders and invoices. What you could do is you could just let that run, but when it comes to actually producing the final document which it sends out to the customer, that could be where you approve it at that point. So we're not saying just let AI fully run and do everything for you, and neither is Microsoft. What we're saying is let AI do the hard work where it can, and then all you will do is just proof check it at the end of the day or intervals, and maybe make some small adjustments, and then it's good to go from there.
Okay, right, that makes sense. So another question around AI. So simply asking, is Copilot or AI available already?
Well, okay, so yes, it is. Yes, it is. It's not if you're on BC Prem, unfortunately. As mentioned, it is purely for SaaS customers. High server loads type of thing. It's purely for SaaS. And yes, there is some features out already. Actually, you can use it for bank reconciliations. So when you're on your bank reconciliation page, you should notice that the little Copilot dialog pops up asking if you want some help, like the old paperclip, and you can tell it what you want to do. And also, actually, which I hope everyone has, if you've seen the new analytical reporting, which you can use in Business Central, instead of actually creating the report yourself by dragging in fields, etc., and choosing which columns to display and where, you can actually just type it now into the Copilot box, tell it exactly what you want, or starter for 10. It will build the report, and then it will kindly ask you, is this okay? Do you want some more information? And you can just expand on that. Yes, I want to see this. No, I don't want to see that. It'll produce another version. It'll say to you, is this any good? Is it not? So yeah, give it a go. I mean, as it's there already, Copilot. It is to use in some areas, analytical reporting and bank reconciliations. Give it a go.
Brilliant. Yeah, a really worthwhile tool. I think we will just go for one more question. We have had a fair few more come in, but what we'll do is we will look into them. I think some of them perhaps require a more in-depth answer. So the ones that we haven't answered, we will get back to you personally with answers and follow up. But just to round it up, the final question has come in from James. James has asked, which transaction types are supported for the multi-VAT functionality?
Oh, good question. Good question. Good question. No, I forgot myself actually. Sales invoices. I should know this. And apologies, I have actually forgotten. So maybe we'll get back to on that one. But I know sales invoices was one of them. It's purely sales transactions. It's not on the purchasing side. It's purely on the sales side. So definitely sales invoices, likely sales orders, and there's probably one more in there which I just can't remember off the top of my head, unfortunately.
I think, Jake, from memory, correct me if I'm wrong, as well as the sales invoices and sales orders, were there things like credit memos and return
Credit
orders?
memos.
Is
Yeah,
that sounding right?
definitely credit memos. Definitely credit memos. We'll leave it at that, shall we?
Okay, that sounds great. Okay, so to wrap up, thank you so much for joining us this morning. I hope it's been a really worthwhile session. We will be sending out a recording of today's session to you via email later this week, so you can rewatch, share with colleagues, pick out any more questions that you've got. We'll also follow up as I said, with those of you that ask questions which we just haven't had a chance to answer, so we'll get back to you personally. Do keep an eye on our events webpage for upcoming events. We've got lots more events like this coming up. It's updated regularly, so there'll be more feeding into that. And once again, thank you for joining us this morning, and have a great day ahead.